Well, welcome to the podcast.
Hello.
Hey, how you doing?
Doing good. I'm excited for y'all to be here today. Would you like to get started by introducing yourself, and we'll kind of begin there?
Okay. I'll start first. So my name is Justin. I am a native of Huntsville. I am 34 years old, so I've been here elementary to high school, plus college, actually.
Okay.
So, but I'm part of Hammerheads Daiquiri Bar. I am a managing partner of it. Just a quick brief things about me. I have done graphic design, content creating, as well as basically just all the marketing for Hammerheads.
Yeah.
Since we started. So I'm just building my portfolio there. And yeah, that's me.
Perfect.
I'm Sean Sonier. I'm originally from Louisiana. Franklin is the town. I moved here in 96, seventh grade. So I'm at the moment, I'm 39. I guess you can say the founding owner of Hammerheads. Okay. Hammerheads is my nickname as a kid.
Okay.
So, but other than that, came here, graduated from Butler, went to Faulkner, got a master's there. But I like to call myself the everyday business guru. So I'm pretty much entrepreneur the last 17 years.
Wow.
And so I got my hands in about 5 different businesses in Huntsville.
Wow. Hopefully we'll be able to address a little bit of each one a little bit, and then primarily Hammerheads, but hopefully have y'all back on again in the next few months to talk a little bit about some of your other business and entrepreneurial ventures.
Perfect.
But so Hammerheads opened in the winter of 21. What were y'all doing prior to Hammerheads here in Huntsville?
Okay. So I would say business-wise, we have Heart and Soul, which is our shoe boutique. I would say for myself, I was doing graphic design for many churches within the area, plus some outside. And then I was working at Verizon, post office, things of that sort to offset. So me personally, I've been entrepreneurial full-time for a year and a half, going on 2 years.
Oh, wow.
Hammerheads is what really pushed me to
go full-time into that?
full-time.
Okay.
But it was, before it was kind of teeter-tottering. So I was doing business on the side while I was still doing 9 to 5.
Yeah, which is a tough balance to do.
Yeah, so, I mean, I can say it now because it doesn't matter, but like working at Verizon, I used to be customer service, and while I'm on the phone, I was doing graphics. I was doing my edits for photography.
Wow.
I was doing, all these different things in the back while troubleshooting your phone.
Wow.
And then, of course, I'm a father as well, father of 2, so then get home and change capes, right?
Yeah.
So I was really balancing that, and then once I got to the post office, kind of seeing, I was like, okay, this drains a lot of my time.
Yeah.
And I was actually having a conversation with Sean. I was like, yo, I'm spending 12 to 14 hours a day at the post office and still trying to do, and he'll tell you, I was still coming to Hammerheads at night and doing graphics and doing all these different things. And I was like, oh, it's time.
Yeah, I gotta stop something, and I enjoy the entrepreneurial stuff. So you're like, hey, I'm not gonna stop Hammerheads. I'm not gonna stop doing that. I just want to no more post office, no more Verizon. Full in on Hammerheads, and then the Heart and Soul.
Exactly. Yeah. So the benefits of going as an entrepreneur outweighed the benefits that I was receiving from having a 9 to 5. Which may sound crazy to people because it's like, oh, you get insurance, you get 401k.
It's stable, so to speak, but then it's like, it's not fun. I'm not enjoying it the same way you're enjoying Hammerheads, you're enjoying the other things you're doing.
Exactly. Like I definitely grew gray hair, but the gray hair worth it, Yeah. So, and it also gives more time. I've learned money over time over money type thing, right? So it provided me the convenience I needed in my life.
Yeah.
So that's what kind of pushed me from 9 to 5 to like, okay, fully doing it. And I'll be honest with you, like, it's prior to Hammerheads, I did have a little stint where I went full time. Like, I was like, okay, I can do it after Verizon. Yeah. I can go full time. And I got out there and I was just swimming, and I was just like, oh, but I didn't have the correct backing. And when I say backing, support system around me to be like, keep swimming.
For sure.
So this time around is totally different, because in those moments of I feel like I'm sinking, I can look over to my left and I hear keep swimming. Right? Yeah. So that's just a little brief history.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, you're good. So Sean, what were you doing prior to Hammer? I mean, you said your entrepreneurial journey has been for the last 14 plus years in multiple different businesses. What did you have business wise prior to jumping into Hammerheads?
I had taxes. I do tax preparation work. I've been doing that for the full 17. But I also started a nonprofit. We used to do backpacks, things of that nature, giveaways. We did that for 7 years. I think we gave over roughly 8,000 backpacks and supplies through that 7-year period. Then I got into the shaved ice business. Got a business called Snowballs. We do that. We've been doing that for 6 years now. Then I got into the shoe business, which kind of birthed Hammerheads in a sense. So we've been doing that for 4 years.
Wow. And being an entrepreneur is not easy. It's not a cakewalk. You're not, there's always new challenges. When you think you've figured out something, there's always a new challenge you're having to figure out the next day.
Yeah.
And you'd think after, most people are okay with one business and saying, hey, let me go all in. But y'all have multiple businesses which add multiple different things to figure out. You both had some entrepreneurial background prior to opening Hammerheads. What was some unforeseen things when Hammerheads opened, or you began the process to open it, that you really weren't prepared for?
Chain of supply issues. In the very beginning, it was actually supposed to open up in August of 2021.
Okay.
And it got pushed back till December. Honestly, it probably could have got pushed back further, but we just kind of went forward and tried to make everything happen. So having those issues was a big thing for us. But I think the biggest thing was introducing something to a city that's we're in a city that's pretty cut and dry.
Yeah.
So, and we were trying to introduce something that was not cut and dry, kind of a new concept in this way that you see in bigger cities. And I think in the beginning it's embraced, but at the same time it's kind of like the city controls the dynamics of businesses around here.
100%.
So, and we started to see that. That was a big journey during the process.
Yeah. I guess so. You originally supposed to open, I guess, in the summer time frame, August time frame of 21. Kind of had to push it back to December. What was the initial opening like? You officially get everything together. You're ready to open the doors to the customers. What was that moment like, and kind of what was the response from the community?
Okay.
So, the response was great.
It was definitely great. I think I can go back to the August time period. So it's literally was a couple of parts that was missing, that was stuck in customs, right? Mm-hmm. And that's what was holding us up. And it got to a point we kind of got impatient. It was like, forget it. Like, let's just go ahead, because the initial excitement of posting it, the announcement, people are like, oh, yes, we're ready, right? And then it kind of dies off a little bit. And then you're like, how do you maintain that? And then, of course, you have the naysayers like, oh, maybe they're not really opening. It was like, literally, it's something stuck in customs that we cannot do what we
Because I was like, I actually was scrolling back through your Instagram before y'all got here.
Yeah.
And was like, I need to look through all their little history just to kind of get some ideas. Yeah. And it was like summer of 2021, big things are happening. And the post was just like hugely like viral. Yes. And then I was like, oh my gosh. And then I was scrolling a little bit more, and it was like, August was like, I was like, okay, that's, I wonder what was going on. So it's crazy how just two little parts can really hold up 3 or 4 months.
And it really was little parts.
Yeah.
We was literally waiting for like the spindles on the daiquiri machines that was in customs, stuck on a ship somewhere, and it couldn't come in. And then finally we end up getting it, and the company literally did a hot shot situation where they had a driver literally go to Chicago, pick it up, and bring it down.
Wow.
So that was the hard part. To me, I think we have that part of like the city or the people waiting for us. It kind of hurt us with the die down.
Yeah.
But what it was, we have an ideal of 90 days. So whenever we introduce a business as a crew, we have 90 days from announcement to open. That's been our motto. So like when we did Heart and Soul, we introduced it, and I think it was May, and we opened in July. So like it's not saying that it's a rush process, but it's like it's a way of executing.
100%.
So we want to execute quick. That way what you're building up, the momentum, is still there when it gets to the point. So like I feel we did have like some fatigue with people waiting, and then that way what that fatigue did, it also created moments where when people come in, they're looking for something wrong.
Yeah.
Because you waited so long. We waited we were supposed to be August. It's 4 months later in December. All right, what's wrong?
Yeah, something must be broken. Something must not be what they expected. Like, I'm just going to find the things that are bad, not necessarily the things that are good.
Correct.
Yeah.
But I mean, I guess at the time, I mean, December is not necessarily like you would love. Obviously, I would have loved to open up in August and open up when you have announced. But I mean, you're in the Christmas time frame. People are home. I mean, you probably still saw a pretty good influx of people just kind of wanting to at least, hey, it's something new.
Most definitely.
Oh, yeah.
So, and it kind of go back to your original question. So, grand opening, walking into that, it was crazy. It was crazy.
Bananas.
It was bananas. And I would definitely say, man, the first month of December
was crazy.
Was crazy. And, you know, but at the same time, like, we had business outside of it, but I'll be honest with you, it was our first venture as a restaurant.
Oh, yeah.
So it was a lot to learn and, you know.
Yeah.
So
it's a whole different industry. I mean, like, it's like the supply chain things. Like, you have front of house, you have back of house, you have all these elements that you just, when it was a shoe place or when it was other things, it's like, it's really just 2 or 3 people.
The product sells itself, right?
Yeah.
With a shoe, like, either you like the shoe, you don't like the shoe.
Yeah.
So dealing with, just say, I'm gonna give a hypothetical of 200 people and everybody's taste may be slightly different, right?
Yeah.
But then also understanding the cost of food. You know, and at that time, exactly like we was in a not we, but food industry was at a time period where it was continuing to rise, and it still is.
Yeah.
It definitely fluctuates, but having to understand that, so understand how to price that towards your market, right, and things like that. So, I think that was a huge thing. Like grand opening time, it was crazy. It was a lot of excitement, but then at the same time, you're like, okay, all right, wait, what?
Yeah, got to fix this, got to fix that. Okay, that needs to be tweaked a little bit. Oh, people really like this. I didn't think they were going to like that. Yeah. And you're kind of having to just jump around. Was there 1 or 2 things you can think about of that grand opening? Like, just to take yourself back to that December 2021. When you open and you expected these certain items to be really, really popular, and maybe those items weren't,
Billy
and maybe
grits.
certain items were.
Yeah.
Billy Goat grits.
Yeah.
We had a lamb chop and grit situation that had blue cheese in it and blueberry sauce.
Okay.
Called it Billy Goat grits. Phenomenal. The city didn't like it. So for real, like, that was going to be like our signature brunch item, and they hated it.
Wow. And so has that item come back on the menu since, or is that item just completely
We went away from it. I'll say this: we was doing the lamb chops, and the crazy part, lamb chops was a big seller for us in general, but like due to vendor issues, lamb chops started coming in smaller. The price wasn't reducing for us on our end; was keeping the same price, but the customers was like, "Oh, my lamb chop is small." So now we're giving an extra piece of lamb chop to kind of accommodate, but we're just losing money. So we went away from lamb chop. As our biggest seller, we took it off the menu because it was creating too many problems.
Yeah, it literally went from a 3.5 ounce to a 2.5, but the price still was at 3.5 for us, right?
Wow.
So, you know, essentially we wasn't overpricing. We was pricing for the consumer, but business-wise, it wasn't going to make sense for us.
Yeah.
And so it's still something that people still come in and be like, y'all still have the lamb chops? And, you know, it's really hard also because when you're in a city full of chain restaurants that's offering something similar, they're looking like, well, they have it.
Yeah. Why don't you have it?
Yeah. And it's like, you know, so it's just learning how to speak to those things 100%. And kind of explain without bleeding on them.
Yeah, and like I mean, the pricing models and just the business model of opening up a restaurant is very different than many other businesses. I mean, it's not like it's a graphic design business like you had. It's not like it's the shoe business or whatever like that. Did y'all just kind of figure it out as you go, or did you have mentors or people that kind of helped guide you along the way?
We didn't have any mentors. We really figured it out. Like we went in not knowing restaurant. We went in knowing business.
Yeah.
And so we felt that we gave fair pricing. We felt that we was giving quality and actual value in their experience at Hammerheads. But I think what happened, this is mid-COVID. Everything started changing. Inflation started creeping up. And the amount of what the cost it really takes to sell some of these things the consumers wasn't completely buying into the increase that fast.
Okay.
So we had to find a way to balance it. And so, like, I think right now we have it balanced, but it basically was a learning process. And I think what every business owner wants when they're opening the doors initially is some grace. And I think in that season of time, grace wasn't given because, oh, hey, we've been locked up at home. Yeah. We're getting out. We want to have a good time.
For sure.
We want to feel like we're not spending enough, all our money. And because money, I guess at that point, work was scarce.
Yeah.
You know, and so people was like, oh, well, you know what? I don't think that's high. That's too high for me. But now when you look at it, you see it on the back end. You buy your own groceries. $100 worth of groceries now probably look like $40 worth of groceries a couple years ago.
For sure.
So you see the prices kind of like leveling out. 100%. And I think now people are actually accepting the cost that it takes with restaurants.
100%.
And I think also the cost from let's just say, we're going to say we're a mom and pop versus a chain. A chain, what I've learned from the process of this is chains have contracts. Their prices don't change. So like mid-COVID, let's just say wings went up to like 3 times what it was for a case. Mm-hmm. But the chains already had their price locked in. They could keep it. Some of the chains actually went up, but on the back end, we're buying the wings at $180 a case versus $60 a case. And we're having to put that price on the consumer.
Yeah. And
the consumer is not recognizing it because business B over here, that's a chain restaurant, their prices is $4 cheaper.
Yeah.
So it kind of, you got to kind of educate the consumer sometimes, but sometimes the consumer don't want to be educated. Yeah. They just want the price compared to this price, or are you too high because over here sells it for this amount?
Yeah, I mean, I think so. I mean, for those that are listening, maybe haven't been to Hammerheads, what would, if they walk in the door and they go in? I mean, now you've almost been open 2 years. You've kind of figured out things that work, things that don't work. You've created this brand now. Mm-hmm. If someone was to walk in the door today, never have been to Hammerheads before, what could they experience from the drink menu to the food menu to the atmosphere?
Okay. That's a great question. I would say, because my mind went everywhere, I would say it's going to, initially, and I hear this all the time with customers, based off the name who never been, they come in and their mind is blown by number one. When they first walk in, they're like, whoa, this does not look like what I thought it was going to look like.
For sure.
I would say, I believe when you came
by, I was like, this is not what I expected.
Yeah.
Like it was not, you kind of almost have a preconceived notion of what you think it's going to look like. Uh-huh. And like you see it on social media, you see it on that. And so you think you kind of know.
Yeah.
And I thought I kind of knew. Yeah. And I walked in, I was like, I did not know. This is not what I expected.
It kind of take me back to MTV True Life. You think you know, but you have no idea.
Yeah, for sure.
So then that goes back to daiquiri. So I have, I'm giving you experiences. So I have had customers, mostly men, come in and be like, oh, it's a daiquiri, it's a girl's drink. And they drink it like, whoa, this is great.
Yeah.
Like, this is quality. Oh, okay, well, you know what? I'm just going to try this. I'm going to say, have your mind open to have your mind blown.
Yeah.
Right? Because this is not me just saying it because I'm part of it.
For sure.
I'm saying this as a true person. It's hard for me to eat too many places because my quality level is different now.
Yeah.
And so be prepared to have your mind blown away. Do not come in with a thought of like, oh, it's just going to be this or it's going to be that. No, be welcome to our out-of-box experience.
Yeah, because I mean, y'all offer everything from. I mean, it's not just daiquiris.
Right. We're more, and that's actually a tagline I use.
Yeah.
We're more than DAC. Right.
Yeah.
We're more than daiquiris. We are a full-blown restaurant, and I say full-blown restaurant. Everything from brunch to lunch to dinner items we have available. But our time that we have that's open, we are pretty much towards people who, I would say, the young professionals that are getting off work, want to grab something to eat, enjoy themselves, listen to some nice music. But we're not a club.
Yeah.
We're not a lounge. We're a restaurant.
For sure.
And so with that being said, it's for the everyday person, professional, that just want to lay their hair down, just enjoy themselves, but don't have to worry about craziness going on around them,
Yeah.
you know, things of that sort. So, and you can grab some good, you can take some food home if you got kids, you can take some home to them.
Yeah.
You know, it's just all around. So, I would say at this point, we are continuing to learn.
For sure.
I'll be honest, we are continuing to learn. Every week is like, it's a balance.
For sure.
You know, and everything has to be in alignment for it to work how it needs to. But I also look at our different business as like our kids.
100%.
So, you know, as you, I don't know, you have kids.
I do not.
You do not have kids. Okay, so I'm a father of 2. I cannot treat one like the other. I had to learn them differently and learn how to parent them differently. And that's how it is with the business. You know, you're going to have different challenges with each child as time goes. But do that stop you from saying, I don't want to have any more kids? No, most people still have another child.
Yeah.
And that's how it is. That's how you had a question. You was like, what pushed you to have so many different business and different things? It's like, yeah, I had to challenge with this one, but that don't mean I'm going to have it with that
100%.
one. And
there's different challenge. And like you said, like we talked about it earlier, I mean, like the restaurant industry is a whole new challenges that you all are experiencing that you will never have to experience in any of your other businesses.
Yeah. And
100% correct.
100% correct. Like, I'm going to back it up another thing because you're bringing up great things. I never had to deal with a building issue. You know why? Because none of the business I did required a business,
100%,
a building.
100%.
So now a year in is like, oh, it's a leak here?
Yeah.
Oh no, actually this leak been here, but we just now finding out because it became an issue, right?
Yeah.
Or like you in a roll of things and out of nowhere the AC unit go out. You're like,
yeah. And these are things that like could keep you from opening and keeping you from serving customers. And
yes.
those are like, for me, it's like, yes, we're at my office recording this.
Yeah.
But I don't need the office to do the work I do.
Exactly.
So I could do this podcast could be done. It could have been done at Hammerheads. You know, if something was to go wrong here, if like I need to do some marketing work, I can take my laptop to a coffee shop.
Exactly.
But for Hammerheads, you can't just be like, oh, the building has a leak. Hammerheads is moved to here for tonight. Like that's not going to work.
Yeah.
Customers going to be confused. They're like,
oh, why are you moving for a night?
It's crazy because people have, why are they moving? Something must be wrong.
Yeah.
Something happened. Oh, they couldn't afford rent. You'd be like, whoa. No, like literally I'm closing because it's a leak here and I want to make sure my customers are taken care of. Like, for example, the shoe store, if something happened with the shoe store, and I'm not saying it will, we could sit up and say, oh, well, you can purchase online as we get this fixed in the shoe store.
100%.
You know, for instance, Sean with taxes, he can come to your house. He can meet up in the middle of the parking lot and do it. Yeah. Whatever. You can move those, but like you said, the restaurant is a stationary
100%.
place. And so learning that part of it, learning the employee side of it.
Yeah.
The vendor side.
As
in like you can get a food order. They come in and they don't got your chicken on the truck.
Yeah.
They're not coming back till next week.
Yeah.
you know?
And it has happened. And now you gotta go, you know, so you may come in and be like, why are they out of state today? Little you know, the state, it's funny, this actually just happened, not to us, but I seen it. I was headed back from Florida this week, and in the middle of the street was a food supplier, and the truck broke down. And I said to myself, while I passed, I hope that's not a food truck. I was like, oh man.
And because like, I mean, like now y'all look at things a little differently like that, because it's not just you go into it like, and I think it's probably the effect you have when you go into other restaurants too. It's like, it's not just me going in and ordering something and eating it. There's 14 steps that have to happen on the back end for this to happen. Yes. And if even one of those doesn't happen, me eating this meal right now is not going to happen.
I'm a horrible date now.
And the consumer don't know that.
Yeah.
The consumer don't understand the amount that it takes to open the door to just serve the food or to serve the drink. Like, I'll go into the cost of insurances that you have to have.
Yeah.
It's not a go around about it. You have to have these insurances.
Yeah.
All right. That's number one. Having the rent for the building if you don't own the building. Then you get into actually having the food.
Yeah.
Then you get into having the workers.
Yeah.
Because at times we've had to adjust what we're doing because there is no labor. You know, so and our consumers, they'll see that, and then they don't understand it. It's just like, well, why did you switch from silverware and plates to aluminum foil and plastic silverware. And you have to, it's not that you need to tell them, but it's just like, hey, well, maybe we don't have anyone to wash dishes on a regular basis or consistently.
Yeah.
And if we get somebody to wash dishes, that's going to pull them from the kitchen, the cook line, or pull them from being able to give you the service that you're requesting. So it's like, it's small things that as you grow and like you're learning, like you got to adapt to the moment. Mm-hmm. So, and we're learning like, let's adapt to the moment. Mm-hmm. Different things that we're going to do, like just to make sure it's more efficient. Like I'll just say, tomorrow we have a new dishwasher coming in. It's more sufficient, and where now it's not literally somebody having to just be there. So like maybe for brunch now, we're gonna go back to the glass plates and the silverware to give that presentation that we want.
Yeah.
But now it's easier where now we don't have to have a person just fully there.
100%.
Somebody in walking. Oh, let me slide this in.
Yeah.
Go through. It dries. We pull and we go. So it's a lot of things that the consumer just don't understand of. In order for me to get this plate, what happened? Yeah. And it's hard to explain it because it gets where, like Justin used the word bleeding. You don't want to bleed on the consumer and say, hey, like, well, in order for this to happen, we couldn't do this because of that. It's just kind of like the consumer got to come in and be a consumer versus being, quote unquote, a part owner.
Yeah. And it's like these consumers are coming in because they, like you said earlier, they want to let their hair down. They had a long day at work. They want to have a drink. They want to have some food and they want to go home. And they want that. If you're meeting the expectations of the consumer, but you're also having to adapt as things change.
Yes.
And it's a tough thing to do. I know we talked about it a little bit off air, and I want to address it now too. So this episode will probably come out, if you're listening to this, probably in November. Holiday season. Big part of Hammerheads is the offers. The space can be rented out for different events, different parties. Can you talk a little bit about what that looks like? And if someone's listening and they want to book a party or reserve a room or whatever it might be, where can they find out more information?
All right, great. So you can go to our website, which is hammerheadhsv.com, or email us at events@hammerheadshsv.com.
Okay, perfect.
All right. So with that, we roughly around, I'll say 150 to 175 sitting wise, 200 probably standing up, room wise. Now we also offer catering service. So just say if it's a situation where we need to shut down restaurant wise on a non-weekend day, when I say non-weekend day, like non-Friday or Saturday, for like a employee event or things like that, you can reach out to us. We can set up, we can basically curate a menu for you. For your situation. We have sound system, things of that sort.
Perfect.
So it's easy plug and play. We have TVs, you can display things, But we actually started doing that last year because we had some realtor groups come in and different things. They were like, oh, we love this place. We love that, we don't have to go out and buy alcohol and stuff. Everything is here.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, great. So then we started doing different different other ones.
Figuring out what other people in the market want.
For that. And it's a win-win.
For sure.
They can have their party and go home. They don't have to worry about cleaning up.
And all the stress is off them.
All the stress is off them. We handle all that for you.
Sure.
And then we always connect them with one person that's pretty much going through the walkthrough. 9 times out of 10 it's myself. That will talk them through it and work through it.
Sure.
But so it's events@hammerheadshsv.com. If you look into email, or you can go to hammerheadshsv.com website, and it has all the information there.
Yeah, and we'll have all y'all's information in the episode notes. Yeah. So if you're listening to this and they want to find out more of their social media channels, their website, their emails, anything we mentioned, I'll include there. So we're recording this episode in September the 7th, 2023. So about to hit your 2-year anniversary later this winter. So congratulations on that. That's exciting. What does the rest of the year look like? What are some goals you have for the rest of the year, as well as we get into 2024 and kind of the next few years? Are there some bigger goals you have for Hammerheads?
For me to end the quarter, I'm more just remain consistent.
Yeah.
Give quality service, make people happy. That's our goal. Expand the market for the demographic that we let people see that we are like a hidden gem in so many words, within the city of Huntsville. So that's my 2-year marker.
For sure.
Goal. Our goal is to make this a life. So like we have a kind of like a pack, 10-year pack in-house where this is what we want to do with this core crew for 10 years. So our thing is just to continue to grow it, hopefully become a staple in Huntsville of the kind of restaurant concept that we have. Mm-hmm. So I think from creating that moment over the years, I think to me it's more about getting to year 5.
Yeah.
I think year 5 will kind of solidify that, okay, we know what we're doing, we're here, let's continue moving the needle forward and creating great moments.
For sure.
And that's what my thing is like. It's all about making sure the community is good, and that way the community will support what you're doing. Yeah,
for sure. Is there any besides the goals and the stuff that he mentioned, that Sean mentioned, is there anything that you have that's maybe different than that, or are both y'all's goals kind of aligned in what you expect the business and you want the business to achieve in the next couple of years?
I'll be honest with you, it's aligned. One thing for sure I would add to it is I think at year 2 coming, we are now reflecting back on year 1 and bringing back the good things that we was looking to do. Like, for example, he brought up Hidden Gem. That was one of our biggest marketing things at first was hidden, like we're your Huntsville Hidden Gem.
Yeah.
Now, after a year, we have expectation now. So at first we kind of was going in blind. Now it's like, oh, I have done everything from clean a toilet to everything in the building, I'll be honest.
Everything under the roof.
Everything under the roof. I would say from payroll down to fixing something. Like I have done everything. So now I have an expectation of what we're looking for. Not myself, but Sean as well as our other partners have expectation of what we're looking. Now we can bring back some of the meat that we had before, what we thought was like not ready yet. Now it's like, okay, now we can present.
For sure.
Now it's time to bring that back.
Yeah, and I think once you kind of have that, you've gone through and you've done so many you've worn 45 different hats within the business. You're constantly changing one, putting on a different one. It does make it easier though as the business grows and you have the chance to hire somebody that you can teach them and you know exactly how this particular job is because you've done the job.
Exactly.
Otherwise, if you had like kind of I've kind of done the job, not really. Like I kind of know how to do it, but I haven't really done it. Yeah. It's hard to teach someone to do it, but you've done them all, and like you're continuing to do them all. So maybe at that 5-year mark, like you said, you're able to kind of have the business operate without you having to be there all the time.
Mm-hmm. Correct. Yeah. And that's where we want to be. We want to make it where we have the freedom, and that's our biggest goal as a partnership is freedom. Everybody does have a lot of different moving parts, but the goal is freedom creates the revenue. Yeah. So the things that we want to do is going to be based on having that freedom to say, hey, we've built Hammerheads. We have people in place to do the work. We can go do other things that's going to either grow Hammerheads or grow the other businesses that we desire.
For sure. So if anyone's listening this is sort of the last question that I always ask. If anyone's listening to this and they want to, visit Hammerheads, where are you located? What are your hours of operation? Social media stuff and everything like that. And like I mentioned, all this information they say will be in the episode notes. So if you forget something, not a problem.
Oh, well. We're 1426 Paramount Drive, Huntsville, Alabama, 35806. Make it simple for you. We're right past Providence. We're across the street from Enterprise on University and the North Alabama Credit Union.
Okay.
Or is it? That's right. Yeah. And the stapler in our plaza is currently Terra Nova's Italian restaurant and Gigaparts.
Okay.
So we're trying to make Hammerheads and Heart and Soul the staplers of the plaza. Mm-hmm. So that's where we're located at in the city. We're on Instagram at Hammerhead HSV. Same way on Facebook. If you want to look at us, that's our 2 main platforms that we use for marketing and connecting with the community. So definitely can reach out there to us at all times. We answer the DMs and on both sites. Perfect. So you can reach out to us anytime. We get people reach out 1 o'clock in the morning, 2 o'clock in the morning, and if we up, we answer.
Yeah.
So we have enough partners in the crew they have access to the social medias.
Perfect.
So somebody will answer an email or a DM at any given hour.
Perfect. Well, yeah, I appreciate you spending the last 35 minutes or so talking a little bit about Hammerheads. I'll be sure to include, like I said, all their information in the episode notes. Definitely give Hammerheads a try here in Huntsville. The atmosphere, the experience is incredible. I'm excited to hopefully be able to have actually have some of the daiquiris soon and have some of the food. I know we talked about that when we first met a couple weeks ago, so I'm excited to hopefully make that possible in the next month or so. But thank you so much for being here. I continue to look forward to the success you'll have here in Huntsville for years to come, and we'll have to have you on soon for Heart and Soul and talk a little bit about some of your other businesses as well. So thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having us.
Sounds good. Thank you.